In a landscape oversaturated with games fraught with adrenaline, explosions, and fast-paced action, Gris by Nomada Studios transcends mere entertainment, weaving an emotional journey that resonates with the deepest chords of human history. While it is technically a platforming adventure title, I'll die on the hill that says this isn't merely a game at all, but rather it's therapy in its purest form. Yes, this is an indie game mode review, but this is also one of those rare moments where I break from my structure and get a bit personal. You see, years ago, my mother passed away, and I've spent all of that time since compressing, ignoring, fighting, and quite honestly failing with her loss. When I picked up Gris on sale in the PlayStation Store last year, I had no idea what I was about to put myself through. It's not all that often when a game reaches deep into your chest and yanks your soul, but when it does, it's a unique and almost once-in-a-lifetime experience. In fact, I can honestly count on one hand the number of games that have made me feel this way, and Gris is on the top of that list. I'm not about to sit here and review a game you've probably already watched a million videos on. Even if this is your first introduction to the game, I'm not going to bore you with the rehashing everything you've heard and seen for yourself. But make no mistake, this is not a game that shouts, it whispers. You'll need to quiet your mind and take a breath to fully appreciate it instead of closing it and returning back to, well, whatever else you were playing before. Even the background music you hear now does not do this game justice. But because of YouTube's copyright claim system, I can't play the original soundtrack, which is something I've had on repeat day and night as of late. The music, the sound, and sometimes even the deliberate lack of both pull on the feelings of isolation and contemplation that permeate the room and the cavity of your chest as you play. I realize how utterly over the top all of this may sound, but I promise you, this game is special. I mean, it's next level special, and you must experience it for yourself to even begin to understand that. Gris is the story of a girl who loses her voice, metaphorically representing grief itself. This is clearly something I, and perhaps even you, can resonate with. And yet, it's about fighting through those stages in hopes of coming out on the other end, unsure if you even can, and fighting inside where words simply can't help you. Everyone always tells you that speaking to someone after losing a loved one is the answer. And while I fully advocate for this, sometimes you just need to wrestle with yourself, you know? There's power in that. Even if it is just a part of that process, it's an important one that you shouldn't overlook. That's exactly what we see with Gris too. She processes grief and grows through it, not with words, music, or sound, but mostly with silence. Not just with color, but with the lack of it as well, the gray. In fact, Gris means gray in French, Spanish in Catalan, sometimes pronounced gris, which is what I probably should be calling it. I'd argue that the contrast and the duality of the experience is more important than the gameplay itself and encapsulates the very feeling one would experience while in the pit of grief. Emotionless at first, a blank canvas for the overwhelming stages to come, neutral and ready to be taken by them as they see fit. First by denial, and then by anger, followed by bargaining, depression, and eventually acceptance. It actually builds on the Kubler-Ross model of grief, and slowly introduces a new color for each level of gameplay marked by these stages. The way the game makes you wait when it opens up and you fall from grace creates a palpable tension. It doesn't tell you to get up and walk by holding the controller stick forward, and you end up sitting in anguish with Gris, feeling what she's feeling, hopelessness. The way the game starts with the black line for the ground and slowly introduces rocks, other elements, and eventually color, leaves me speechless at the use of contrast. The same can be said for the scale. The beauty of Gris extends beyond the story to its art, the animation, From the beautifully flowing dress of the protagonist to the smoke billows and the crumbling rocks, it's all just so masterfully done. Each visual element adds depth and texture to the emotional landscape, allowing you to bathe in the process presented. The game takes its time to unfold cutscenes too, allowing you to truly take a breath from your daily life and be present in the narrative. These deliberate pauses force you to slow your mind and body and experience the emotions in sync with her, something I'm very, very glad they did. It's not just a storytelling technique, but a thoughtful way to engage you in deep reflective experience. Anger is depicted with red, and the game captures the turbulent emotion with the terrifying winds that threaten to sweep you away shortly after the first act. The welling concern that the wind induces isn't about dodging it. It's about feeling the fury of a loss that words simply can't describe. Later on, you're introduced to a beautiful, lush forest, where bargaining is depicted with green. And you must navigate this forest, where the only way through is to bargain food with your new forest friend, who makes a way for you when all paths seem closed off and all seems lost. Then, you'll make your way to the deep blue ocean, where depression is depicted by blue. As you swim deeper, it's pitch black and there's no light for you, which encapsulates the consuming depths, isolation, and hopelessness that comes with this stage of grief. And eventually, you'll come through to acceptance, which is depicted by yellow. The foliage that grows in these spaces of the game gives hints of hope, peace, and forward-looking. As these colors flood the environment, you'll notice there's no room for gray anymore. The denial must make way for the healing process, despite how painful it is. I think you'll find that while this isn't a path you must take in your own journey, though I hope you do, it is one that unfolds before you, encourages you to have a rock as you walk through the storms of anger, someone to lean on as you navigate the winding forest of bargaining, and gives you a light as you dive deep into the ocean of depression, a necessary journey on the way to the light of acceptance. The beauty of this journey lies in its subtlety. Without spoiling the end for you, I'll just say this. Acceptance doesn't mean we must forget the ones we've lost. Experience this game for whatever it ends up being for you. But know that this is not a prescription for grief, but a companion to it. It's a shared experience that doesn't dictate how you should feel, but instead, it understands and embraces the complexity within you and offers you a hand to hold as you make your way through it, one day at a time. After my mother passed away, I felt all of these stages, seemingly at once too, and I had no clue how to express them in words. Hell, I didn't even want to. Playing Gris allowed me to identify them and face them head on in hopes of coming out on the other end, something I wasn't sure I could ever do. Quite honestly, it's something I'm not sure I can ever do, but at least I have hope in knowing that Nomada Studios has captured that outwardly and expressed the very essence of the complex storm raging within me. The final scene gave me goosebumps, and I cried. I'm not ashamed to admit that. There are very few experiences that can make me feel such intense emotion, and this one deserves much more attention than it gets. It's a symphony of emotions, an ode to grief, and a testament to the artistry of game design when a studio defies the status quo and decides to create something deeper and more meaningful. I may have completed Gris, but I will carry the echo of this game and the echo of my mother with me always as a part of my ongoing healing and of my very being. It's a short adventure, but an emotional and beautiful one that I'll never forget for as long as I live. This is one game that you must play before you die.